Not all companies will have to label their products if they contain GMOs. That's part of a bill that just recently passed the U.S. House. Here's more reaction on the mandatory labeling process.
Hello there, Mr. Nelson.
Good afternoon.
What do you think is wrong with allowing states to pass laws requiring food to be labeled?
Well, the problem is that we could end up with having 50 laws that companies would have to abide by if each state were allowed to pass their own laws. And so what makes this legislation really good is this creates a kind of a uniformity or some consistency to what the labeling message would be, and that labeling message would work all across the country. So we believe this is very good for consumers, that it provides consumers with what they really need to know, which is clear information about the food that they eat. And it also is good for consumers because it keeps the price down. If companies would have had to label products for 50 different states or potentially 50 different state laws, the cost for companies could have been very, very high, and that would negatively affect not only those companies, but consumers and farmers and ranchers as well.
Steve, studies show a slight majority of the public views genetically modified foods as unsafe, but most scientists say there's no reason for concern. What does that say to you?
Well, all of the data that I've seen tells us that GMOs are safe. Science backs that really in every way. There's no one ever has been sick, made sick, or died from the consumption of GMOs. So a lot of the concern out there is based on misinformation. And again, what the passage of this legislation would do is it create that kind of standard that companies can use to not only uniformly label products across the country, but also provide clarity to the definition of what different products may contain.
Let's talk more about this legislation and specifically what it means for farmers here in Nebraska, where a majority, of our corn, soybeans, they have genetically modified traits.
Well, that's right, and really more and more of the things that we consume do, and it's been really a great thing. I think it's allowed us to use less pesticides. It's made corn products, for instance, or corn plants, able to have higher yields on less water. Many benefits that really affect the farmer side of it, but those things also help the consumer because they allow us to increase production with less resources, and thus keeping the price of the product lower, more affordable for consumers, and helping us feed not only our families but people in our state, nation, and world.
Steve, we're about out of time, but real quick, this isn't law just yet. Do you expect the Senate to take a peek at this?
Well, we do, and we will work hard to see to it that the Senate takes this up and that it becomes law. We're very happy with the work that our three congressmen have done. Congressman Fortenberry, Ashford, and Smith have all been strong supporters of this. We know too that Senator Sass and Senator Fisher support this kind of legislation as well. So we'll continue to push hard to get this kind of legislation passed in the Senate also.
Your Grow forecast coming up after the break. Stay with us.